thing I neglected to do in the last video was to make a newspaper holder. My letterbox at home has a newspaper holder, but it is just a piece of PVC pipe that has been bolted onto the side of it. So we are going to make a newspaper holder because the brief calls for it. So we're going to go to create a sketch, but before I do that, I'm going to press escape. I'm actually going to hide these bodies that I've made, so just going to go through and do that. It's very easy to select the bodies when we in fact want to select a plane to work on. And we're going to select the circle tool. Now you can either click onto it up here, or you can just press C to bring up the circle tool. And we're just going to start with a center circle. There are other options for circles that you can explore if you like. But we're going to make this circle 80 millimeters in diameter. Just zoom in a wee bit there. And then I'm going to make this 2 millimeters thick. So we're just going to go -2 and make that 2 millimeters thick. Then going to go finish sketch, and I'm just going to select it while it's in this 2D view because I just think that is sometimes a bit easier. Pop back into that one, and we're going to make this about the same length as the lid that we made, so we're going to make that 260. Okay. And I can sort of see one thing actually is you can actually sort of see the shadows of the bodies or components that you've made when they are sort of invisible, which is quite useful. So I can see that's probably not in a great place at the moment. So I'm just going to highlight that body that I've made for the newspaper holder. Going to move that out of the way, and I'm going to rename this to newspaper holder. Now, if I just turn all this back on, so we've got all of our parts now. Now, all of these parts are bodies at the moment. Now, there are bodies in Fusion 360 and there are components. You need to change all of these bodies into components. Components enable you to do assemblies. So there's a couple of functions that you can do with these parts when they're components that you can't do with them when they're bodies. And the other thing about components is you're able to give these parts physical attributes. We don't need to worry too much about that, but say the parts of the letterbox would all be metal, so they're like a sort of a thin sheet metal, and this part here, the newspaper holder, is going to be made out of a plastic, and I want that to be different from these parts. So with making them components, you're able to do that, and you're able to actually make them the correct tolerance and the correct weight and things. So there's lots of good reasons to turn these into components. So anyway, we're going to turn them into components. So the way that we do that is we can actually go select through like that, and so holding the shift key to select all of those, and we're going to go, we've selected 5 bodies that we're going to turn into components. Bam. Now those are all components. Now with the components, you've still got the bodies inside there, so you can still select the body, but the body sort of sits inside this sort of menu now of the component. Okay. Now, I'm not going to go through the entire assembly for this, I don't think, because it is a little bit time consuming and a little bit finicky, and you will have to sort of work with it yourself. But I'll just show you what I want you to do. So if we go to modify now, and we're going to select align, and what I'm going to get you to do is you can just select planes of components. So I've selected that plane there, and I want that to align on the inside of this letterbox body. And I'm going to click that there, and that has aligned this face with this face in the center there. So if I look at the back here, you can see that has aligned nicely. If I get rid of the door, you can see that has aligned neatly with that. So you can see that's the reason why we had to make this slightly shorter. Then I'll just turn that door back on, go to modify, go to align, select that one. Now this is a bit of a finicky job. Sometimes you find it easier if you kind of zoom in or out to be able to select the bit that you want. You can see here it will sort of go through the geometry, but you can sort of see the problem that it does get a bit finicky with where it kind of like targets things. So I'll just select that one there. What I like to do is just sort of get it close with the align and then use the move tool. See there with that, it's kind of decided it's a sketch object that I want to move, but I don't. I want to move a component, so I select that as a component, select this component here, bring that in. You can see that's roughly about right. Okay, and I won't get too particular about this. I might do that off camera, but let's go with this one here. So we'll go with the lid, and we're going to go modify, and we're going to go align. So you do have to think about your faces in terms of how you're going to actually align them. So I want to actually have that align with the bottom. Come around here. So it's sort of selected that bottom plane of that one. And I'm just going to line it up there because it's just easy. Okay. And then I'm going to select this one. See there? It's sitting on a body where we actually want to move the component now. Select the, not the tray, select the lid in here. Select that. And I can just move that into position. Roughly about right. I'll just sort of get into different views to sort of see that as I want it. I am actually going to just pop in here though, just before I go. And I'm going to just rotate this one a little bit to account for that 5-degree angle. And just bring that across and down. Something like that. Anyway, you can sort of see the way that you do it. You do have to kind of just get into the right view that you need. So I might come into here, select that one, and just sort of fiddle around with that until I've got it, or got that how I want it. It is a bit of a sort of a process to do that, bit of a tricky process, and you do need to just take a bit of time doing it. But I'll just allow you to do that, and I will see you in the next video.